A reading from the Gospel of John. Jesus said, "When the Advocate comes, whom I will send to you from the Father, the Spirit of truth who comes from the Father, he will testify on my behalf. You also are to testify because you have been with me from the beginning. I have said these things to you to keep you from stumbling. They will put you out of the synagogues. Indeed, an hour is coming when those who kill you will think that by doing so they're offering worship to God. And they will do this because they have not known the Father or me. But I've said these things to you so that when their hour comes, you may remember what I told you about them." Jesus is in the middle of his farewell discourse. He's been at table with his disciples and he's been sharing a lot about what they can expect that's coming up. And he's telling them sort of a good news, bad news situation. Good news, the Advocate will come. I'm sending the Holy Spirit, or the Advocate as he's calling it here. I'm sending the Advocate who will be with you and will testify to me and testify to the Father. That's the good news. Maybe the not so good news is that little thing Jesus slipped in there about when they put you out of the synagogue and when they come to kill you. They'll think they're doing it on behalf of God, but they aren't really, he says. And I'm telling you this so you don't stumble and so you don't get rattled, and you'll remember that I told you this was coming. Seems a little bit like a dinner party that's gone horribly wrong. The host tells you he's going to die, and then he tells you, oh, by the way, you're going to die, but I'll be with you. And while it strikes me as a bit funny, maybe this is just quarantine mind taking over, that this comes up at dinner, it's actually a wonderfully, it is a helpful thing that Jesus has told his disciples and told us. And that is an answer to those in the world who would say, how can you believe in a God when there's all these things going wrong? Indeed, maybe how can you believe in a God when there's something like this pandemic going on? Jesus did not come to save us in a perfect world. Jesus did not come to be with us in the midst of paradise and perfection. Jesus came to be with us in the midst of humanity and creation and all of the glory and the pain and suffering that goes along with all of that. So Jesus comes to tell us the Spirit will be with us. He comes to tell us things are going to be difficult, and I'm telling you that now so that you will remember that I told you that I knew this was going to happen. And I am with you, and I want you to keep from stumbling. I don't want difficult times, indeed persecutions, indeed killings perhaps. I don't want them to lead you to believe something that's not true. I don't want you to make it question your belief in me. I don't want it to make you question whether you believe that you belong to me or belong to the one who sent me, my Father. So may Jesus' awkward dinner conversation inspire you and me this day to remember that God is with us, the Advocate is with us, Jesus is with us through thick and thin. Amen.